Down below the hills of Middle Amana is a little 100-acre lake known as the Amana Lily Pond. A month ago, at the end of July and the beginning of August, the lake was covered with thousands upon thousands of lotus blossoms, white against the green leaves. But now, with the beginning of, or with the end of summer, there are very few blossoms left, and pretty soon the lake will be covered with ice. But off to the north of the lake, another event is taking shape. And there, blossoming out of the prairie in a 1,000-acre tract, are hundreds and hundreds of multicolored tents. And that will be the place where the 1988 World Championship Plow Fest will take place, along with an agricultural exhibition. There will be plowmen coming from 54 countries throughout the world. They will be plowing up these fields in their contest, and over among the tents will be exhibitions of agricultural equipment and many, many other items. It will be a big event. Amana will be the host to over 300,000 visitors during a 4-day period starting September 7th, 1988. Homestead, in the staging area where the plowmen are setting up their plows and their tractors. Plows have been shipped from Sweden, I believe, most of them. The orange ones being from Sweden. The tractors are given to the plowmen to use as they come over here to America. Plows are all shipped from either their own country or from this company in Sweden, who subsidizes the plowmen by shipping out new plows to them to use at every event. Right now we've got, I think that group is from New Zealand. Try to talk to these two gentlemen a little bit and see where they're from.
They're sort of sitting on the front bench and you change it.
Where are you gentlemen from?
Zimbabwe.
Say it again.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Okay. Bring that up a bit.
Yeah. Also. Okay, we're out here behind Amana, where the plowmen have gathered to do their practicing for the upcoming plow match. And right here is a gentleman, I think he's from Switzerland. Wie heißen Sie?
Hans Zellweger.
Hans Zellweger. Zellweger. Ja. Und da hinten steht Esther. Und dort auf dem Traktor, neben Traktor, ist einer heißt Kurt. I have to say that in English because there'll be some English people listening to this too, probably. What's Kurt's last name? Letzten Name, Kurt?
Polenweider.
Polenweider. Und auf dem Traktor ist Hans.
Ja.
Now I have to interrupt here a minute, Glenn. He just got this camera, and we have taken pictures in Canada of our fishing trip. I mean, you're not on official television, you know. No, it's just for our own own benefit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We can't have you on television because he doesn't work for the TV.
Oh, I do.
Just for our own fun.
Mary, are you? It sounds like you're on television.
No, I'm not.
The plowmen are going to be judged on several things. One of them is how straight their furrow is, and you can see that this man's furrow is plenty straight. And then they're also judged by how clean the bottom of the furrow is. And at this particular point, they're just setting their plow, so they haven't really gotten into that. The other thing is how neatly the rows stack up in each other without any big clods. So they're getting a pretty good job done. But they've just now got their plow going and made 4 passes, and they're still adjusting it. These gentlemen that are in this group from Switzerland are from near Schaffhausen, which is on the Bodensee, near the Bodensee. That's Kurt measuring out. They're exacting work. It's now, they're still out here at 7 o'clock tonight. They'll be doing this for the next week. They're using tractors that are loaned to them by this one, International Case Company. Also now he's measuring the depth of the get their plow out of the ground in the exact same spot as before. So they leave a straight row and they lift their plow in and out of the ground. Wann war die an dat? Wann waren Sie in der Weide?
Letzten Sonntag.
Oh ja? We're out behind the fields, or in the fields north of Amana now, where some of the plowmen have moved to practice their grassland plowing. About half of them here, and half of them are still up at the site north of Eichacker. Tomorrow, Wendler Engineering and Construction has agreed that they would supply the noon lunch for all these guys. So tomorrow we'll get them all together, hopefully, and take their lunch to them. Oh, they're all very appreciative of it. They have mentioned that the Amana people, the people around here, are really good hosts, and they really enjoy being here. It's been a lot of fun talking to a lot of these people. I think the one we're looking at now is the group from Norway. I'm standing on top of a little mound that was built just north of the visitor center, trying to show you the number of tents that have gone up since the first time I took these pictures about a week ago. Right now they say there's 360 different exhibitors that have signed up. There's only about 3 or 4 spaces left in the whole show site, and it exceeds the number of exhibitors exceeds what they thought originally by about 120. Originally they thought there'd be 240 exhibitors, and now they find they've got around 360. The smallest area, which is represented by a little tent like that. Costs $600 rental for the little patch of ground for the show. So you can imagine what that Ford tent might run that's we see in the background. Okay, I want you guys to call out your countries when I go past you. Where are you from? Kenya?
Kenya.
Und der hier?
Belgium.
Belgium. Die haben wir schon.
Switzerland.
Yeah, man.
Amana. That's George Nagel. He's out there treating the plow match people to their Amana field lunch. But those other guys up there aren't seeming to come down here. Maybe we'll get them in a little while. Where are you fellows from?
Australia.
Australia. I've talked to you before, yes. Help yourself to the
Good, thank you.
what little food we have here.
Thank you.
So here we're September 7th, 1988, the first day of the big Ag Expo. I'm standing on a hill south of the golf course. We don't seem to have too much traffic yet. The sun is very bright, as you can see, and the Ag Expo is down there. But cars are starting to filter in. Down below us, north of the Middlemana Park, quite a number of recreational vehicles, mobile homes, people that are going to be staying here perhaps all 4 days of the Ag Expo have moved in, and more are coming. South of Mana, we're looking east toward Homestead along the old Rock Island Railroad tracks. Any moment now, at 8:05, the first passenger train to stop at South of Mana in at least 25 years is going to be coming down that track. We'll keep an eye out for it and see how the people react when they arrive here. We're standing here where the passengers will get off of the, I think it's called the Iowa Interstate Railway, and it's located right through this hole they've punched through this dike, right north of Carl Ailes restaurant at South of Mana, the Colony Marketplace. You see there through the cut that they've opened. This is where the people will disembark and head for the shuttle buses, which will take them to the 1988 World Expo site in Amana. Off in the background, we see the faint light of the locomotive as it approaches our little station here at South Amana. They should be on us in a few minutes. It looks like they're going to be right on time. 8:05 is their scheduled arriving time. First man off.
Okay. I can't see a lot. People have to walk.
Just tell us which direction to go. Up here?
Right down there to the left. Right. Thanks, David. See ya.
So I stay up there.
No, right on the corner.
There's at least 3 more dinosaurs back there.
How's the trip, sir?
Great.
How long
Looking
did
for the name of this car so we can ride it back.
it take you?
Beats me. About 40 minutes, I believe.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Where are you folks from?
Well, we're from West Branch.
I see.
I hope you get warmed up.
Right behind the blue water.
It's right from the yellow one.
Oh, okay. Right in front of the yellow one, Jay.
You look. This is the very first train, so they're that right now.
People all look like they're having a great time. Now they're heading up toward the barns in South Amana where the buses are parked behind that barn. You see the bus right there. The bus will take them down to the expo site. Later on this evening they come back and take their train ride back. Now we're down at the horse-drawn plows. A couple of mules, or some team of mules. Where are you folks from?
Desert.
Desert. Oh, you're not very far away from here, are you?
We're 50 miles east from Slater.
Slater.
North of Des Moines, Ankeny.
Yes. Yes. You going down here for a couple of days or just a day?
Just today, brought a busload from the bank.
Oh, I see.
He's a banker.
Oh, God. You got to see how these farmers are doing that, right? See if they can make the payments. Fellas from?
Up near Madison.
Madison?
Wisconsin. we're going to make history here today, Mr. Wendler. First time in the United States, the Soviet Americans are going to plow that ground that your grandfather and my grandfather bought, okay?
Sounds good. That's the man that's responsible for this whole event, Dick Eichacker from Amana. He's the man that wrote the letter to Secretary Gorbachev, inviting them to come over. And the embassy, Soviet embassy, wrote him a letter and said, yes, we will participate. So because of RC, we have these people here in America, right here in Amana.
Yes. You got a lot of batteries there. This may be a 45-minute program.
I'm not going to take it all, RC, but
make me a copy. I'll see you later.
Okay. The tractor that's imported from Russia, the Russian team is going to be working this one to plow USSR in the lands here in Amana. Yeah.
How you doing, Glenn?
I can't see the tractor for the people, Harold. There's a guy we haven't seen for some time. Harold Wendler, he's came out to Amana to check this out. How are things looking, Harold?
Do a little plowing myself.
Good enough.
Right back to the back, the other side of the back wheel.
Things are coming. Here we have two of the Russian plowmen. Another one coming in the background. Eichacker welcoming them.
You're a technician.
Yeah, technician for Plowing.
Okay. Ray is over there.
Yeah, over there.
He's going to explain what who these tractors are, what they are, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to send somebody up to stop people from coming across here. Okay.
Well, he's the man that's going to do it. Okay?
Everybody can deal with that.
You tell him he's going to follow US.
We уже знаете, американец будет первым здесь следите за ним. И потом здесь он ждет. The American's going to wait from here, and then he's finished. He'll go on. The
American come over and wait, and then he comes first.
Американец может быть ждет здесь или здесь, но вы будете первым. Хорошо?
Yeah. If he comes to the end.
На каком расстоянии ехать? Друг от друга. What kind of distance did you want between us?
Safe distance.
Безопасное расстояние. Может 10 метров. 10 метров. About 10 meters.
After he comes to the end, he goes back and puts the tractor back here.
И потом ставит трактор здесь.
And then he comes back on stage.
И потом обратно этот прибьет. Хорошо?
Okay?
Одевать эту куртку или нет?
No, you
Не надо, не надо.
Montebello.
Clambeck, one of the gentlemen, or the gentleman that's responsible for having this all here in America. Herb, say a word to us people.
I'll be very happy to, but I'll have to correct you. I am not responsible for this alone.
No,
There are
I know,
hundreds of people, 2,500 people who are working on this event. It just happened to be my idea 50 years ago that we could have something of this nature, and it grew and it grew and it grew, and today you can see for yourself. This is the world plowing match now, and the world has come to Iowa, and the good Lord has given us a wonderful day, and here we are, happy as a lark.
Well, you can say that again, Herb. The people in Amana are really happy to have you here and all these people. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You want it smashed now or later? No. Goodyear blimp needs running in town. For anyone here who can.
I've only asked the media to be inside the fence. The rest of you, we need to go behind the fence because these tractors are going to go by up front here, and the media is going to be responsible for themselves. So if you people over there leaning on that tractor want to save your life, you move now because that wheel is bigger than you are. People can line the field. They may not be able to hear everything, but we want to make this a happy occasion and a safe occasion. So we'll give you about a minute to move back. Who doesn't, the same story holds true. Everybody ready here? Okay. First of all, let me welcome you out here to this land that is special for those people who are part of the World Plowing and the Amana Society. Myself, I have something near and dear to this land. I was born and raised here, but one of the main things, 133 years ago, my fifth generation grandfather came out here from New York, from Germany, to buy this land. I'm honored at this point to be up here as Master of Ceremonies to have an event that may be I know it's going to be a significant event, something that you can share with your friends and family, and that you can say, individually, you can say you were at the first plowing event that took place between our two superpowers. I'm going to turn now the mic over to a friend of mine who I have listened to for 55 years. I didn't know the first 5 years, but the man that I have listened to, and you have too if you're from Iowa. Before I do that, though, I would like to point out that this is not a contest. This is a demonstration, a friendship event. And that our country, our government, our legislators have been spending millions of dollars to keep the Russians out. Today they are here. They're here to plow with us. And we will introduce them in a moment. But first, I'd like to introduce the gentleman on my right here, Mr. Herb Plambeck. Herb?
Thank you, R.C. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from around the world, you are about to witness one of the most historic events in the realm of American, in the history of international farm events, international plowing events. We will have with us a team of Soviet plowmen, champions, and a word should be said about how this came about. Last February, Mr. R.C. Eichacker, who you just saw and heard, so enthused about the World Ag Expo here at Amana and the World Plowing Match coming here, wrote a letter to Secretary General Gorbachev in Moscow and said, we should have some of your Soviet plowmen here to witness this event and be a part of it. Nothing happened for a while, but on June 27th, word came to R.C. Eichacker that indeed serious thought was being given to this, that Secretary Gorbachev had approved this plan, and that the Soviet plowmen would come. I would like to suggest that we have a big round of applause to R.C. Eichacker, who started this and has seen it come to its fruition. Let's give a hand to R.C.
Now for a few introductions, and then for the major part of why you folks are here, to see and witness something new, something different. First of all, I'd like to introduce Monroe Miller. He is president of the United States Plowing Organization and president of the Iowa Plowing Association, and I've associated with him for about 4 years. Monroe, please come forward.
Thank you, R.C. I'm happy to introduce Lamley Appleton from Listra, Russia. Elmer Vesky from Virginia, Russia.
Werner Gruber from Painesville, Minnesota, USA. Steve King, Rippey, Iowa, USA. All checked and plowmen.
Hi, I'm Ray Kosinski. I'm the service manager for Melrose Machinery in the USA. Okay, over here we have the 7100. It's a 300 horsepower tractor, articulated with a shift on the go. And the tractors we're using for plowing today. The weight on that? Okay, the weight on that is 27,000 pounds. Okay. The tractors we're using for plowing today are two Belarus Model 822s. They're 85 horsepower. They weigh approximately...
There's one Belarus and the John Deere. Is Bob here? Bob, I'll take it over for you. I'll take it. Okay. What we're going to do is take the large green tractor and one of the orange ones, if you don't know the names, and we're going to plow a border. It won't take very long. The plowman will come back here, and then the two tractors over here. And by the way, I didn't want to leave 4 tractor out, but that was a last-minute change, and I mean a last-minute change on the tractor there. But the idea is not the tractor. The idea is that two nations are plowing together right here. So at this point now, before we get into the actual plowing, I would like to have the coach for the Soviet team, Vladimir Van der Roop, stand up and have him come over here, please. And he and I, here's the coach. I will hand him a flag of his country, and I'm going to ask him to raise it on the flagstaff on the right. Meanwhile, I will take our country and raise it on the flagstaff on the left. Okay? Okay. It is the Soviet ceremony. We will take a loaf, a piece of this bread with the salt, sort of like communion, amongst all the people here on the stage, and share in that bread. So Debbie, yes, as she comes down here, we will take a small piece. A ceremony which is new to many of us, including yours truly. Okay. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. Boy, these people are going to be thirsty when this thing's over. Now for the plowing part. Right on time. The weather looks good. No rain. The wind is down. I'd like now to have stand up Mr. Baskey, Mr. Warner. Please stand here, gentlemen. Fine. These are the two that are going to go to their tractors and plow around the border. I will keep and you will see. I'd like to have them now, at this time, shake hands. Okay. Again, the two men, Mr. Gruber, Warner Gruber, he's a national champion from years gone by. He will go to the John Deere. Bob, I have to turn it, please. I will at this point say that I want to chance for some thanks along the way. First of all, you can see in your program, Leo Piper, an architect, laid out the letters you will see shortly, and not mentioned on the program, but Green's Construction Company from Cedar Rapids laid out the letters. And the
horizon. The Goodyear blimp is approaching the site. There it is. And tomorrow, it was just announced, tomorrow the Russians and R.C. Eichacker and the American plowmen are going to get a ride in the blimp.
Warner Gruber, the driver.
The first time in the history of international plowing competition, Soviet plowmen, Russian plowmen, units in Iowa are to be located. The National Sheepdog Trials, which is underway now and will be the next 2 days. The women's program, or I should say the family living program, constantly in progress, which will be at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Live sale, 8-horse hitch will lead that procession. I understand tractors and plows will be coming in.
We're out behind Middle of Manna now, getting ready for a very first balloon ride with pilot Peter Staymates. There's another pilot there. Bud Jameson's flying another balloon.
Yeah, it's ready. It's all hooked up.
They're getting the balloon ready.
Pretty,
Sure is. Just want to see that USSR. Oh yeah, there it is.
You'll be able to see it anyway. We'll fly the edge of it.
Now we're getting over it. Yes.
It's a real right turn. That's great that we go over counties.
zoom right in on Mary down there. That's where Mary is, right in that tent.
Oh, is she?
There's her house right there.
A lot of trees left.
Real pretty place, the golf course.
Looks like it. Oh, if they want to fly over that show, they should go way up there. Buzzard chase, over. Pretty good shot of it, isn't it?
Sure is.
It's like hanging here in a basket. Yeah, they're going north. Oh, right over there.
This is an
safe,
official
Larry.
ceremony. Now, what do you do this every time, Peter?
Oh yeah.
So you pilots actually do quite a bit of drinking then.
Well, you know, it's really for the landowner, but he's not here.
I see.
Well, you're the landowner.
So-
This is a man
right.
society property.
That's right.
So that's why Jameson. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, Reuben got it.
So I touched it first.
Oh, Reuben caught it.
Hi.
Reuben's gonna get married.
No wonder. No. The exhibit site where the World Plowmen are doing their final plowing for the contest. And this here man coming up is a member of the Swiss team, Kurt Vollenweider. He has been one of our guests in the house, and we've kind of been cheering him on. This young man here, wherever he is, Peter. These people are also from Switzerland. They're the people that had all kinds of problems with their automobile. They're staying in our cabin by the river. They're on their honeymoon, and they're here cheering on their Swiss team. The Swiss, they have, it's a custom for them to have flowers on their tractors when they plow in competition. Kurt here, he made a bouquet of local goldenrod. I hope he doesn't have an allergy. One of these fellows, one of their coaches, is going to be staying with us this evening, or Tuesday, I guess. So, these guys gotta figure out which team we're rooting for. USA is doing a little old-fashioned. An old-fashioned full-type plow and an old M farm wall.
I was with him 37 years ago.
All the equipment already fenced.
They don't have very big farms, and his is less than 60 acres. He grows vegetables and grain and potatoes and sugar beets. He was the Swiss.
He didn't know. He announced earlier he didn't know what it was. Or they had decided.
Every dog that has
Sticking through those gates over there. Scattered all over. We're back there.
You want to slide your stroller? There's more dogs.
Oh, I wonder if you don't have to climb through all those gates first.
No.
Oh, they missed that one.
You have to do that. It's the final trial, that's right. Our dog. You
I gotta go through this.
don't name.
Oh, I left there a dog right there.
So that's the events that will be coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. In fact, in 5 minutes, the Cedar Rapids Jefferson High School Marching Band should be bringing the plowmen walking down the musical and singing group.
When did you get here?
He ran out of power, though.
No kidding.
Batteries ran down, right, Ted? Don't you dare miss that.
How you doing, buddy?
I don't know what to tell him. Tell him about the Clydesdales.
No.
Here, I'm going to let
Did you see the big horses?
No.
If you want to know, you just heard it over here, for those of you that are sitting on this side, the half times of the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Kansas State game.
You did?
Iowa 17.
What's your name?
Kansas State 10.
Just after the expo closed, and there's a balloon in the air just south of our house. I think it's Bud Jameson. And another balloon somewhere. And I don't think they're finding a spot to land.
The heat is on at the World Ag Expo. The sunny skies have pushed construction at the site way ahead of schedule. The roads will be ready, but the crops may not. It's been dusty and dry here in Iowa County, too. Only 1.5 inches of rain has fallen here in the last 2 months. These test plots were designed to show off hybrids and herbicides, not the effects of Iowa's worst drought.
I really think we've got less than a week left before we start losing some major portions of some fields.
Despite the heat, all systems are go for the World Plowing Contest.
Yeah. The plowsmen may be working in a concrete type surface or soil, trying to really get their skills tested with if we don't get any rain, but there will be plowing.
Moser says this will be the only World Ag Expo ever held in Iowa. That's why he's confident the drought will not hurt attendance.
If it is droughty conditions, there may not be as much harvesting going on. There may be people that have a little less money to spend, but the event is very minimal charge for coming in. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. I don't really think that it's going to affect the crowd a lot up or down.
The World Ag Expo is 2 months away. It begins September 7th.
We know what matters.
From the Eastern Iowa news team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 6 as we celebrate Iowa at the World Ag Expo with Dave Shea, Maggie Jensen, sports with Pete Cipher, and meteorologist Dave Town.
Good evening and welcome to the World Ag Expo in the Amana Colonies.
Day one of this historic event has unfolded without a hitch. Thousands of people from all over the world are gathering here to talk farming.
And tonight we celebrate Iowa from the World Ag Expo grounds, as we will each night during this huge exhibition.
This World's Fair of Agriculture opened with fanfare this morning. The Hawkeye Marching Band helped welcome the world's farmers. There are people here from all parts of the globe, and Iowa's leaders say they're in a position to spread a positive message about the U.S., Iowa, and the Amanas.
It doesn't come to the United States very often, and we're proud that when you decided to come to the United States, you came here to the heartland, into Amana and Iowa. Thank you very much.
This is a world-class event, and it's tremendous that we have it here in the heartland of Iowa.
Dozens of students from Coolidge Elementary School in Cedar Rapids sang for the visitors, and the expo was officially underway.
Tonight we're also marking an historic first at Channel 2. Our entire newscast tonight is coming to you live by satellite. We're proud to announce that we're members of the nation's first and largest satellite news gathering network. In fact, the signal you are receiving is being bounced 46,000 miles into space and back before you see it. It's courtesy of our satellite truck parked just a few yards from us here at the Big Ag Expo. It's called the News Star Network, and it enables us to take you live to any news story in the United States at any time. It's the future of television news, and we are proud to announce that KGAN is the first Iowa television station to be a member.
At least 250,000 people are expected to attend the expo over the 4-day run of this event. If you're going to be one of them, here's some information that should make your visit more enjoyable.
Go right on through the gate.
People streamed into the expo by the busful this morning. It costs $2 per person to get in, but you can get a 4-day pass button for $4. The exhibition grounds are like a miniature city, a bit overwhelming at first, but there are several information booths where guides can answer all your questions, and you can buy guidebooks complete with maps and schedules for $1. Everything you need is here. There are portable phone booths, which can also connect pilots with the flight service station for weather reports. A mobile post office has been set up for souvenir hunters.
To get special cancellations for the World Expo.
Now, does it cost anything extra to do that?
No, it doesn't. All you have to have is a stamp. Put a stamp on the envelope, we'll cancel it, or you have postcards.
You needn't worry about what to do if one of your party should fall ill during your visit to the expo. Mercy and University hospitals from Iowa City are staffing the first aid center. Personnel here can handle any kind of trauma or illness, and they don't have to worry about the traffic. To get around the traffic outside of the immediate area, we have the helicopter based out here from the university hospitals, and we would be using that mode of transportation for any critical patient that needs rapid transport. There are 7 big food tents on the grounds. They all have the same menu, but chances are good you'll find something you like. You're probably wondering how far you'll have to walk from where you park your car to the expo grounds. Well, it will be a long ways from the parking to the expo, but you won't have to walk very far because there's a shuttle service that runs constantly. We haven't been able to find out the schedule for the shuttle service, but they seem to be there when people need them. Tomorrow's events start at 8 o'clock. The plowing contests are expected to be the highlight of the expo, but there are many other things to see. Despite the drought, enough corn was found for a husking demonstration. About 20 shuckers show their skills twice a day.
A contest every year in the state of Iowa. We got 14 states into it now, and those boys wanted to come down here and kind of demonstrate how they husk the corn back in the 20s and the 30s.
The Huskers say they can shuck 100 bushels of corn a day, and they consider it a sport. Hand shucking ended when machines started doing the job in 1935. If you're planning to attend the expo this week, please stop by and see us here at the Channel 2 News Tent. We're located on E Avenue in the main exhibit area, just 1 block from the Visitor Center. Channel 2 midday and our news at 6 and 10 will be presented live from the expo grounds each day, and we look forward to seeing you.
Coming up, a child's dream comes true. Stay with us live from the Ag Expo. The World Plowing Match for international competitors doesn't start until Friday, but some local competitors got up in the tractors today. Our Wade Wagner took part in the Celebrity Plowing Contest this afternoon, and he joins us live here at the Expo site to tell us how we did. Wade, who were you up against today?
Dave, I went up against Governor Terry Branstad, and he has a little more farm experience than I do, at least on the tractor. A couple of other competitors were here today, too, including John Crystal and Chet Randolph of Des Moines. Farming's supposed to be a quiet job, but this plow-in was anything but tranquil today. Governor Branstad and I went head-to-head in plowing competition before 500 spectators.
This is a different kind of a contest. This is how straight you can plow, and I'm not sure how straight I can plow.
I asked them if I could hook my Buick up to the plow. They didn't go for that.
I doubt that you could pull it with a Buick.
My tractor was a 1937 John Deere A. Franklin Roosevelt was president when it was made.
You want to keep some speed up, but yet you don't want to go too fast. You kind of want to just take it easy. And your steering wheel, most of it, just kind of keep your eye on that tire a little bit and the furrow. Once you get the furrow started, you kind of watch your front end a little bit on the right side.
Lyle Grimm used this tractor earlier in the day in the antique plowing competition. I'm sure he did a lot better than me, and believe me, the plowing's not as easy as it looks.
Once you get started, you don't want to look back. Maybe once or twice. Get your eyes set on how straight you want to go and the area you want to aim for.
I think you're doing real good for never being on a plow. I couldn't ask for anything better. You had to learn everything. Learn how to drive it, push the clutch, the whole work, the whole ball of wax. I think you done real well. I want to congratulate you for it.
And I missed the tents. That was the main goal. Missed the tents.
That's right. Okay?
All right. And Dave and Maggie, nobody stopped by to give me the Goldman Plowman's Award, so I guess I didn't finish first, second, or third.
You did just fine, Wade. Thanks a lot. That's our news for now.
Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.
What matters.
From the Eastern Iowa News team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 10 as we celebrate Iowa at the World Ag Expo with Chuck Shalene, Lori Stevens, sports with Pete Cipher, and meteorologist Dave Town.
Good evening. Welcome to the World Ag Expo in Amana.
The historic first day and what we can expect from the rest of the week top our news tonight as we celebrate Iowa in Amana. First day crowds here estimated at 60,000, far more than what Expo organizers expected. Things were definitely looking up for day one of the Expo, and not just because of the Goodyear blimp. A The larger-than-expected crowd had organizers smiling.
Well, this looked to me like a World's Fair.
Longtime farm broadcaster Herb Plambeck has probably been to more of these farm shows than anyone. In fact, he founded the World Plowing Contest back in the early 50s.
The official estimate is 60,000. I've heard 75,000. Whatever it was a wonderful crowd, and they all seem to be having a great time.
The only thing we'd like to see is a little less wind, and I guess they've got that ordered for us tomorrow.
The wind was a problem, but people seemed to take it in stride.
I wants to take my hat off all the time, but other than that, well, we're getting along all right.
We're country folks and we're used to the wind.
Most of those country folks were taking in the hundreds of exhibits here. Of course, the exhibitors were happy about that.
Oh, that's true, Chuck. We've had at least 300 people or so right on the site all day long. Some good prospects, people looking things over.
I haven't had a chance to see the plowing demonstrations yet, but we intend to come back tomorrow to watch those.
Quite a few people did watch the Iowa plowing matches today and the award ceremony that followed. The USA matches are next, with the World Plowing Contest on Friday and Saturday. With a successful opening day under their belts, organizers are singing a happy tune about the rest of the week.
Now with the vice presidential candidate coming, I would have to say I think Friday will be the big day.
I hope that we can just have as good a next 3 days as we have this first day.
If you're planning on coming to the Ag Expo this week, we'd like you to stop by and say hi here at our Channel 2 booth. We're located on the main exhibit area here on E Avenue. That's about a block or two east of the Visitor Center on the grounds. Look for the big Celebrate Iowa banner and look for our newscasts live from the World Ag Expo at noon, 6 and 10. We look forward to seeing you.
Chuck mentioned the Iowa plowing competition. Now we can show you some of the action and tell you that 3 Eastern Iowans are among the winners. Dean Kruger of Aurora took first place in the horse and mule division. Dale Schrock of Iowa City won the large division, and Dean Miller of Kelowna won the safety award. Now, from those who know how to plow to complete novices like our Wade Wagner. Wade competed with Governor Branstad and others in a celebrity plowing contest to help the Ag Expo get underway.
Most of it,
Wade
just
got
kind of
some
keep
tips
your eye
from
on
Farmer Lyle Grimm.
that tire a little bit in the furrow. Once you get the furrow started, you kind of watch your front end a little bit on the right side.
Wade says it's not as easy as it looks. He says he doesn't know who won the celebrity plow-off. That probably means he didn't. Good evening and welcome to the Ag Expo.
We at Channel 2 are celebrating Iowa here in Amana, and we'll continue to do our newscast here until the Expo ends this weekend. Today, a highlight of the show was the joint plowing demonstration that brought together farmers from the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Wade Wagner reports they carved a huge message of peace before a crowd of 3,000 people.
You could call it plowing for peace. Soviet and American farmers brought together by one short letter to Mikhail Gorbachev. R.C. Eichacker of Amana wrote that letter. Today, he saw a dream come true.
Well, if we can work together in the field, we can work together in a lot of other places, too.
The tractors moved in an unusual direction, but then this was an unusual job. Huge letters were carved into the Iowa earth. The letters USA and USSR. Each letter nearly 300 feet high. 2 drivers made the furrows. One was American, one was Soviet. 2 drivers with a common bond with the land and their machines.
I think there's an opening, a large opening for a lot of things to happen in the future.
And after this is done, I think they will be in pretty good shape, and hopefully they can go home and spell all their letters.
As long as they were together and done in friendship between the United States and the Soviet Union, he thinks there'll always be friendship and peace.
The Soviets won't compete in international plowing competition, but you get the feeling that doesn't much matter. They were already stars in American eyes. Perhaps the first Soviet farmers to work Iowa's rich soil. Soil these Soviets say isn't much different than that of home.
The letters stand for a long time. Would you like to see them for a while?
Хотели бы, что эти буквы мы только что написали были там навсегда.
Конечно.
He wants them to be there forever.
Wade Wagner, Channel 2 News, Maine, Amana.
Although the Soviets won't be involved, the international plowing competition begins tomorrow. The U.S. held its own competition today. This afternoon, plaques and awards were given to competitors from across the nation in several categories. Jack Law of Pearson, Iowa came in second in the antique plowing match. He has plowed in competition since 1979 and says the crowds watching don't bother him. Law drives a 1923 John Deere tractor in his matches.
With all the news about the foreign plowmen and the focus on the World Plowing Contest, some of you who live in urban areas might think there's nothing for you at the World Ag Expo. Nothing could be further from the truth.
It's true that the large percentage of the exhibitions are aimed at rural folk, but many of them are interesting in their own right. The John Deere exhibit is huge, beautifully laid out, and displays all the products the company makes. Some of them can be used by city dwellers.
Especially they'd come up to a tractor and say, this is the type I have, and they wanted to show who they were with. And
you say you like to shop. Well, the Expo exhibition grounds are essentially a huge outdoor shopping mall. This big tent is filled with rural crafts. There are clothes, knickknacks, jewelry, and trunks.
They put their stereo in it. We'll mount their speakers here. We'll put a switch on it.
You can hunt for a car here. There are toys for sale, and microwaves, refrigerators, and stoves. At some point, you're going to have to take a break. No sweat. Several of the exhibitors have been kind enough to install husband holders, places for the guys to sit and people watch while the wives go and spend money. Or you can sit in one of the many tents where there are shows and demonstrations going on. The GMC tent, right next to Channel 2 News, frequently has live music, and of course the main stage is constantly in use by lecturers, panels, and artists.
Another piece of advice about enjoying the expo, wear your tennis shoes, because not only are they more comfortable, but there are wood chips all over all the lots, and if you're wearing open shoes, they'll get inside.
Coming up, a controversial state official leaves her post.
And the University of Iowa gets a major research grant. As we showed you earlier in the newscast, there are plenty of activities here at the Ag Expo that are not related to the plowing contest. One of the more popular spectator attractions is the sheepdog trials. Hundreds of people lined the course this morning to watch handlers put their dogs through the competition. The object is to have them guide the sheep in the most efficient manner possible. Handlers learn from each other and go to clinics. They train their animals with hard work.
Go home and practice. Go home and work my sheep.
Okay, how do you think Ben's going to do today?
Oh, this is a small course for him. He likes a bigger course, but we'll just go out there and have fun and do what we can. I'm sure he'll do fine.
And Nora's dog Ben did do fine for the most part, but he got a little tuckered out near the end. But once it was over, it was the dog's version of Miller time. Ben was ready for a little cool relaxation. The sheepdog trials will continue tomorrow, and the final competition will be held on Saturday.
Aren't they fascinating?
Oh, yeah.
Smarter than some... No, I better not say that. That's our news for now.
Thank you for celebrating Iowa with us at the World Ag Expo in the Amanas. Have a good night.
Coming up, where the money goes once it leaves the pockets of World Ag Expo visitors. Western wildfires burn on, but more help may be on the way. And we'll meet an Expo celebrity worth looking up to. The Channel 2 News at 10 is next.
We know what matters.
From the Eastern Iowa News team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 10 as we celebrate Iowa at the World Ag Expo with Chuck Shalene, Lori Stevens, sports with Pete Cipher, and meteorologist Dave Town.
Good evening, live from the World Ag Expo in Amana.
This has been a record-breaking day here at the Expo. Organizers say 80,000 people came through the gates today. That's up 20,000 from yesterday. The people came, of course, to see the exhibits and watch the entertainment, but they spent a lot of money. Where the money goes tops our news tonight. The entertainment and the activities at the Ag Expo are free, but unlike the Farm Progress Show, people here pay admission to get on the grounds. $2 per day or $4 for the run of the event.
I think being a wholesome experience for so many people, I just don't see how it possibly could offend anyone to pay $2 to come here.
I think it's worth it. Everything I've seen is really interesting. So,
organizers hope to take in $200,000 from the gate, with the Amana Society and the Iowa City Chamber, the expo sponsors, distributing any profits.
The money will be used for community development projects, whether it be charities or community development in the Amana area for the arts, and community development in Iowa City.
There goes your last dollar.
Many nonprofit groups also hope to make money from the 7 food tents and 20 or so pop stands on the grounds.
We've been taking in $11,000 to $15,000 a day.
Voigtman, who runs the Marengo food tent, says that should translate into a profit of about $30,000 after all is said and done. 120 volunteers from various Marengo organizations are working here, and they hope to put their profits to good use.
Maybe some mission possibilities and general improvements.
And here in Amana, local merchants say business is picking up after a very slow Wednesday.
Without the expo, we would have probably had more people here in town than we did. However, today it was much better.
Ayler says that's because people who went to the opening day of the expo are finding time now to come to Amana. With attendance expected to be strong for the final 2 days, there should be some happy business people and happy charity organizers in eastern Iowa, even though the expo sponsors have not yet decided which charities to give the profits to.
It's probably kind of a touchy subject, because when people know that we've had a good event, then I'm sure there's going to be people asking for money, so that's the next step. Those will be nice problems to face.
One reason large crowds are expected here at the expo tomorrow is the appearance of Democratic vice presidential candidate Lloyd Bentsen. Tonight, Democratic Party volunteers painted signs in preparation for the visit, and the son of former Vice President Walter Mondale was on hand to help out. Ted Mondale says that Iowans should look forward to Lloyd Bentsen's visit to find out just exactly what the nominee has on his mind in the way of foreign policy. Bentsen will be speaking at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the main stage, and Channel 2 will, of course, have complete coverage tomorrow at noon.
And finally tonight, one of the fringe benefits of the expo is that thousands of eastern Iowans get to see the Goodyear blimp up close. Even better is getting to ride in the thing. Our Doug Fratelloni did.
A crew of 22 attends to this great balloon. It's one of 4 in the Goodyear fleet. Watching the blimp touch and go near the Cedar Rapids Airport this week is becoming somewhat of a spectator sport.
I guess it's because it's different. It's something that moves slow and it looks awkward, but it looks like it's floating, like a cloud.
I was lucky enough to climb aboard for a ride to the Amanas and back. The blimp is here because Goodyear is the major sponsor of the World Plowing Match. Captain Esch says flying the blimp is like steering an ocean liner. At a cruising speed of 30 miles an hour, he says nothing much can go wrong. That's why he let his passengers fly this aerial ambassador, which after a quick prayer was simply a piece of cake. Were the others scared with their lives in my hands?
Just a little. Tremendously.
Hopefully the serene Iowa countryside made up for any jitters. But we're still wondering why these cows headed for the next county. Later, overlooking the Ag Expo grounds, we spotted a familiar sight. There's Wade Wagner. Hey, Wade, get that turkey leg out of your mouth! The only unfun thing about the ride was turning around, realizing that it would eventually end. Viewing Iowa from this height at this speed brings only one slogan to mind. It just doesn't get any better than this. Doug Fratelloni, Channel 2 News, Lynn County.
And I did get a chance to see the blimp, as some of us did too. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, quite a sight. And how about for blimp watching tomorrow, Dave?
Blimp watching at 7:30 should start off cool, 53 with partly cloudy skies.
Okay, that's the news for now.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Good evening and welcome to the World Ag Expo at Amana.
We here at Channel 2 have been celebrating Iowa at the Ag Expo since it began on Wednesday. And today the plowing competition, which is the highlight of this event, got underway. We'll have more on that later. First of all, during the day, Democratic vice presidential candidate Lloyd Bentsen made an appearance at the Expo. Farm Director Wade Wagner talked with Bentsen and got his views on agricultural policy.
Lloyd Bentsen says he's the only farmer on the presidential ticket from either party. The Texas Democrat made that his theme today at the World Ag Expo. He told the large farm audience agriculture is not a hot topic among his Republican opponents. Benson says he's not surprised Dan Quayle and George Bush have not been pressing the flesh with farmers.
I understand why Dan Quayle wouldn't want to visit with the farmers of Iowa. He's afraid you might ask him some question about agriculture policy, and if you did, he just might not have an answer.
Benson criticized the Reagan administration for plunging the farm economy into its worst depression since the 1930s.
Farm exports dropped from $44 billion in 1981 to $26 billion in 1986. Those are the facts.
After his speech, Senator Benson talked with me about priorities for the Dukakis administration if it wins. Benson says he'd like to see expanded farm trade with Japan.
Their standard of living is substantially below ours, even though their per capita income is now past ours. One of the big reasons is what they have to pay for food.
Benson's also optimistic about future relations with the Soviet Union as both countries negotiate a new long-term grain agreement.
Well, I think that it means that we have a good chance of opening up some additional markets there, and that we ought to be pushing very hard to do that.
Senator Benson brought his wife on the campaign swing. They stayed in Iowa about 3 hours. Wade Wagner, Channel 2 News, Amana.
Benson's counterpart, Republican vice presidential candidate Dan Quayle, is expected to be in Iowa next week, probably on Friday. The head of the Bush campaign in Iowa says that details of his trip are still being worked out.
The International Plowman took center stage at the World Ag Expo today. It all started with a spectacular opening ceremony. The Plowman's Parade got underway at 9 o'clock. It was led by the Iowa City High Marching Band and the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. And then came the Plowmen, 50 of them, all in their tractors. Like their drivers, the tractors came from all over the world. Some contestants, like the plowman from Switzerland, decorated their tractors for the show. They proceeded to the Cairn of Peace, where each plowman and his family stood before their country's flag.
I hereby declare the 35th World Plowing Contest now open. Plowmen, please go to your tractors, mount them, and for you all the best of luck. I thank you very much.
At that, the plowmen raised their flags, climbed back on their tractors, and headed out to the plowing grounds. The World Plowing Contest did get started a short time after that ceremony, but do you know what makes a successful plowing run? We didn't, so we thought we'd better find out.
You just have to be on the ball and try and get it done.
Monroe Miller knows how exacting competition plowing is. He's won national championships, and he has competed in the World Plowing Contest. He says it's possible to be quite precise with these big machines, but it is very difficult.
It's really amazing what they can do, and so many people can't visualize and can't understand what they're doing until they come out here and see it.
Precision is the key. All the furrows must be the same length and same depth. They must be straight. No wheel tracks may show. The 50 contestants are judged by 18 men, many of whom are former plowmen, like Alan Wallace of New Zealand. He's a former world champion and says the responsibility of being a judge weighs heavily.
I believe in the principle that if you award the points to the plowman that is the best, this not only acts as encouragement, but it also rewards him for his ability.
Helge Nielsen of Denmark seemed to be off his tractor as much as on. He frequently measured the width of the ever-narrowing grassy strip to make sure his rows were straight. The contestants were painstaking, but they were working under a 4-hour time limit. For a timed event like this, there must be an official timepiece. No clock is big enough to be seen by everyone on these vast grounds, so they've erected a flashing beacon on top of that crane over there. It's flashing green right now. When it flashes red, that means the contest is over. Helge finished his last furrow just before the time limit was up. It looked perfect. Do you feel happy with your performance today?
Yeah, most of it, but something I could have changed and done better, but not today. I like to do a good job and do a professional job which for people like to see. So it's make it professional.
If Helio was unhappy with his performance today, he'll have a chance to make up for it tomorrow. They'll plow grasslands, which have some tough alfalfa in them. He expects that to be much more difficult than cutting furrows in the stubble like they did today. By the way, the Soviets are not competing in the plowing contest, but they will give an exhibition tomorrow using their Belarus tractors. They will take to the field at about 3:30.
Benson's visit here helped push Expo attendance today over the 100,000 mark. The question remaining is, will it help push Democrats over the top in the fall? The Expo picked up steam today with a crowd estimated at 105,000. Lloyd Benson also hoped to pick up some steam for the Democratic ticket with his speech on agriculture.
My sense of the crowd was that he got their attention pretty strongly. There was a lot of, seemed to be a lot of farmers there that looked pretty positively at what he was saying.
But the Republicans stuck around at the Expo, not conceding the day to the Democrats despite Benson's visit.
What we found here is a lot of Republicans and a lot of people interested in the Republican candidate.
Don Redfern is running against Democratic Congressman Dave Nagel in the 3rd District this fall. He says the drought relief bill that many of the farmers here will benefit from will help Republicans, including himself, even though his opponent is on the committee that wrote the measure.
Anyone that's in that position is going to have a lot to say about it. But I think the administration is the one that really showed the initiative, identified the problem early on, and went out and made some things happen.
In 1984, Iowa farmers overwhelmingly supported the re-election of Ronald Reagan, continuing a long tradition of supporting Republican presidential candidates here in Iowa. The Democrats say they can break that string this fall, but people I talked to here at the Ag Expo say it will be close.
From 80 to 85, the Republicans let the farmers starve to death, and I don't know how many farmers are smart enough to remember that long.
I think things were better during the 70s than they have been during the 80s, for farmers especially.
But you think it's going to be a close election?
I think it will be real close.
Benson says he's confident the Democrats will do well in the Farm Belt, though a recent poll shows the Dukakis lead slipping in much of the region.
We know what matters.
Now, from the Eastern Iowa News team that knows what matters, this is the Channel 2 News at 6 with Amy Johnson, Doug Fratelloni, sports with Tim Swore, and weather with meteorologist Roger Evans.
Thanks for your support and your hospitality. For now, goodbye, but I'm sure we'll meet again. Thank you very much.
With that, the 1988 World Ag Expo and World Plowing Contest came to a close. Good evening, live from Amana.
110,000 people packed the expo grounds on its final day. Many were here to witness closing ceremonies. The Jefferson High School Marching Band of Cedar Rapids got the festivities underway. A series of emotional tributes followed.
We all spread over the globe. We go back to our respective countries over the next days with thoughts of satisfaction, knowing new friends, renewed friendships, and thoughts of gratitude to you folks of the U.S.
Organizers here say the greatest accomplishment of this year's expo is a demonstration of fellowship and peace among people from around the world.
Well, Doug, the closing ceremonies also included the dedication of the Cairn of Peace located near the main stage. The Cairn is a monument to the 50 plowmen who competed in the World Plowing Competition. The next such match will be held in Norway a year from now. The Cairn will be moved to the Amana Visitor Center for permanent display. Today's record attendance pushed the 4-day total up to 350,000. Expo organizers say the event was successful beyond their wildest dreams. Sandy Riesgraff reports on what most people will remember most.
Service with a smile! That's pretty much what you got wherever you went at the World Ag Expo. On this final day, smiles were everywhere. What's the highlight of this World Ag Expo for you? What has been the highlight?
Something different, the U.S. and Russia plowing together. towards world peace.
Well, I brought the grandkids because I told them this, you know, this would be something maybe first time in a lifetime and the last time you'd ever get to see.
Yes, it's all right. I don't know, it's fun.
What do you think you'll go away with remembering most?
Oh, the older machinery and the older part of farming back when I was a kid, the part I enjoyed.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, right.
The part organizers will remember is the crowds. 352,000 people attended the expo, people from 26 countries.
We've been incredibly blessed. We've been blessed by great weather and a terrific bunch of volunteers.
Sandy Reescraft, Channel 2 News, Amana.
Now let's go to Farm Director Wade Wagner and Expo Director Mark Moser for some insight on what went wrong and what went right with this Ag Expo. Wade?
Well, Doug, we're standing on E Street, the main drag-through here, the main of the World Ag Expo. It's now B-Line Street, I'd say. A lot of traffic coming through as exhibitors anxious to leave from this population of about 10,000 now.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting time of the show. A lot of the friendly, lovable exhibitors become a little bit tough wanting to get in and get ready to go home. And as soon as they get in, there's no problem, but everybody wants in, everybody wants out. We try to protect things. Our show ends at 6 o'clock. We try to protect things until 6 for the people that are visiting the show. Then at 6, we turn around, and then we're protecting for the exhibitors as it's time to tear down. So things are really rolling in here pretty smoothly now, but it's a general hectic time of the show, and it's somewhat busy around at all of our gates.
Overall, you've got to be pleased with the turnout and the weather.
Yeah, I'm real pleased. We've felt real lucky and felt real fortunate that a lot of people came to see the show, and a lot of people liked it. We were real happy that everybody around seemed to be real happy with it, exhibitors and visitors and demonstrators alike.
Do you have a handle on attendance? Were there a lot of city folks and international and Midwest visitors?
Yeah, we saw quite a few foreign groups that came in, some tour groups and some trade groups. Of course, all the World Plowing people and their contingents and stuff were here. And we were looking at about 355,000 people total, which we thought about 200,000 to 300,000. Shocking the first 2 days, probably more than anything. These last 2 days were about what I would have expected, but the first 2 days were, substantially more than what we thought.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much, and thank you for your time, and I enjoyed working with you this summer, and I know you're going to head back to the farm and relax a little bit after a busy couple of years organizing the World Ag Expo here in Maine, Amana. On the awards ceremony tonight, we'll find out who the international champion was for this event. We'll find that out. We'll have a report tonight at 10 on that, Doug.
Okay, thanks, Wade. And for those of you wondering why there are no turkey legs here at the Ag Expo, or a shortage of them, well, his name is Wade Wagner. Had to get that in.
For the first time in the history of international farm events, international plowing events, we will have with us some of their skills here in this large, beautiful Iowa River Valley soil. It is an historic moment. A word should be said about how this came about. Gorbachev had approved this plan and that the Soviet plowmen would come. I would like to suggest that we have a baby to see them at work. And among other things, we were taken to far-off Kazakhstan. Why you folks are here to see and witness something new. Elmer Vesky from Miguel, Russia. Werner Gruber from Gainesville, Minnesota, USA. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. I will at this point say that want to chance for some thanks along the way. First of all, you can see in your program, Leo, you folks that are up front here that can see it. On my right here, looks like a barber pole. This pole is a peace pole. At that park when the Soviets were here. Around the outside of that pole, in 8 languages, reads, "May peace prevail on earth." Japanese, Hindi, I don't know if I got 8 of them, but those are the 7 will be sitting next to the caramel piece. And then thereafter will be placed in the tourist center where people like you and other tourists to come. That tractor is 190 horsepower, 15 24,700 pounds, 47 bodies.
Mean for Iowa and for the nation, you think, to have the Soviets and Americans together like this?
Well, I think this is a wonderful thing. It seems like it's a milestone that we could have had quite a long time ago, and I think it's going to really steam up a lot of people and work for some peace that had maybe could have been taken care of before, but I think there's an opening, a large opening for a lot of things to happen in the future.
As far as trade relations, perhaps, too, for the Iowa farmer?
I would think so. I think this is going to be a good public relation among the countries.
How are the Soviets reacting to Iowa and the field conditions here?
I really haven't talked to them, but I can't answer that. I don't know.
And this is a good day for this, so a good crowd, good turnout. People are interested in it.
This is a real good day. I'm surprised there's so many people here, but there's a lot of people out here, and it's a beautiful day, and I think they really look forward to this, and they're going to be a good remembering of this day.
Position.
Есть кнопки, что кнопка? Ну, непонятно, такая, ну, как волокно, но как будто подгнившее, ну, такое. Он говорит.
Вы можете поднять крышу, если надо.
Thank you.
Ford is making his first turn at the bottom of the letter U.
Thank you.
The blimp, of course, has arrived. There's some over there with the late. Sometimes I run fast. We didn't know how many of you are going to come with us.
Just keep the path.
Thank you, boys. We're down the second leg of the letter U. It'll take us probably 10-15 minutes to complete the letter. The letter U. I see there's a couple people there who would like to get off the field.
RCI on
Amanda wrote a letter to Secretary of Agriculture, General Gorbachev of Moscow. Don't think he's Secretary of Agriculture there anymore. And told him that thank you very much. Here in
They can call Monroe Miller. There's a guy here.
When they are through in about an hour, these letters ought to be pretty busy. Yes, sir.
The procession, the Soviets will go first. The Soviets will go first and all their letters to us. They changing position. We'll go down the side and start.
Go ahead. Any of you guys looking for a spot now? You got full load? I'm up here in Lot B along the road.
Two companies are following together.
Yeah, Bob, I'm here at headquarters right now. We're okay as far as help-wise. We just need...
Maybe in years to come, they'll invite us over, and we can spell our letters into their soil.
He's over there. He's plowing another round. He's coming around, he's widening the outside.
You got to be pretty pleased after the letter writing and all the hard work that went into this.
My adrenaline is high, Mr. Wagner. I am happy with the results. I'm happy with the weather. I'm happy with the way the plowmen are performing. And we're going to make some slight adjustments, and we're going to paint a picture here that I think will last for a while.
What does this mean for agriculture in the U.S. and the Soviet Union and for the farmers in both countries?
Well, if we can work together in the field, we can work together in a lot of other places too. And there's no reason why we can't. We started from the earth, and we might as well work on it all the time.
Were you surprised that Mr. Gorbachev and the Soviets responded the way they did to the event?
Yes and no, because of his attitude on perestroika and letting us into their world, letting us into their world, and we let them into ours. No, I was not surprised. I was happy. I hope someday I can shake his hand and show him a picture of what we did.
How about the Soviets? How have they reacted to the hospitality here in Iowa?
Cultural shock. They are never been out of their country, never been out of their territory, and they are warming up and they're relaxing. And after this is done, I think they will be in pretty good shape, and hopefully they can go home and spell all their letters.
And they were popular over here with the autograph hunters.
Yes, they will probably be around for a while yet if their hands don't get tired. Tomorrow we're going to do some more, and hopefully the audience can see some more of the demonstration.
They're making the S.
People have to get off the Belarus. We're going to move that one so we can finish everybody off of the other tractor immediately, safely, carefully.
Let's see.
Is Mr. Batsky around? Mr. Batsky? Mark, the driver is coming over. I'll move forward. Stand by. You got a vehicle headed back? Anybody headed back over there? I have a vehicle. You got wheels on there. Is anybody headed back over that way? I think most people walking. There's back.
Can they have that Goodyear truck?
Wait. Okay, good back on the stage. Please move back.
The Goodyear is coming back in the position again. He's going to have to start over there. You can see the energy right top of the yard. We're going to the first step with a one back here. The presentation is followed. The exhibitor is on the show you, Mr. Wolfman. Just about at the end of the USS honor letters, the Confederates are coming to the end of the hour. They'll be coming back here. Please for several styles. We're going to make room on this side of the track again where they started. They will be moving on again. They'll come up here on stage for a presentation by the World Organization and a special invitation. Please gather around and stay hard.
And to Mr. Vesky.
Also, any other things? We got two more people.
Come on the straight and narrow. For those of you, like I say, we will have some more information between now and tomorrow. But at this time, I would like to have the chairman of the World Plowing Organization. Would you like to say a word or two for these people? Oh, thank you, R.C.
And the one thing they want to thank everyone that's been involved with this, for the hospital, the leaders, the organization, the expo itself. Got Mr. Mosher, the one in charge. RC, who's been in charge of this. So we have the possibility to be here amongst and with you people here.
Do you appreciate the symbolism of this, for the plowshares? You know, that sort of thing.
Это хорошо вам, что мы сделали это вместе здесь.
Конечно.
Of course.
What's his impression of Iowa and the soil and the land here in Iowa?
Почве и земле и люди здесь в Айове.
Ну, как я понял, что почва у нас одинаковая, и люди по характеру тоже одинаковые.
Well, the soil has the same characteristics as people. Wherever you go, they're the same, at least in this area where he's from the Soviet Union.
Доброжелательные и приятные.
And they both produce good results when given the proper nourishment.
Do you hope the plowed letters stand for a long time? Would you like to see them for a while?
Вы хотели бы, что эти буквы мы только что написали были там навсегда?
Конечно.
He wants them to be there forever.
Если будут вместе дружить,
as long as they were together and done in friendship between the United States and the Soviet Union, he thinks there'll always be friendship and peace.
So it was something of a coup for the Amana Society and the Iowa City Chamber of Commerce to have brought the World Plowing Competition to the Amanas this past summer. It was also a lot of hard work, but then as all those who make their living off the land will tell you, it's also hard work breaking the plane.
that.
They had chisel plow, but they had a rolling cultivator that
At a time when we continue to lose millions of acres of natural areas to agricultural advance, when countless bushels of topsoil flow downstream every season, and farmers in this country are capable of producing themselves into poverty, holding a plowing contest seems ironic. On the other hand, competitive plowing doesn't resemble the assault on the land with which we are familiar. In fact, the plowing contest is an opportunity for representatives coming from 25 countries all over the world, stewards of the land, to display their craft.
Not very well. On the wrong side, really. I think I ought to be the other side.
Ja, man sagt das bloß. Los oder so? Nein, das ist schön zugestellt. Ja. Kopf fixiert. Ja. Kopf hoch raus. Die Spitzen geht das so zu. Das ist fix. Ne, das hier wird dann schmeckt. Das ist immer das.
The last time the United States hosted the World Plowing Competition was in 1972. The next encounter will take place in the year 2010. Understandably, organizers wanted to make the championship of 1988 a memorable one. Sponsors of the competition, the Amana Society and the Iowa City Chamber of Commerce, chose to frame the event in what has become known as a farm progress show, where hundreds of exhibitors attempt to saturate the public with infinite tidbits of information and countless flyers and advertisements. An estimated 355,000 people attended Ag Expo 88, and many of the spectators saw, for the first time, a plowing competition. What they saw may have confused them. Relatively small tractors, special competition plows, and poles in the ground seemed foreign.
I think you've got to remember, first of all, that ploughing's been developing for 4,000 years. And the aim of this job is to turn over fresh soil and bury all the trash, the grass, the rubbish, prevent it growing again for next year, and to provide a seedbed for the following crop. We want a nice level seedbed. Every furrow must be identical to its neighbour. The start must be level and the finish not too deep, nice and shallow finish. And straightness all the time is so essential, because if you don't keep your furrows straight, they're bound to vary. There'll be more pressure on the moldboards as they go around the bends. So straight, level and even furrows, that's the main thing.
The lure of untamed territory is only a few generations removed for much of rural America. Although our farmlands are aging at an alarming rate, we regrettably think little of the widespread tillage still taking place. Europe, on the other hand, has had to deal with worn-out soils for centuries. These challenges have perhaps forced the European farmer to become more of a caretaker, and also contribute to why Europeans typically dominate the world plowing competition. Of the 35 world meets held, only 4 winners have been non-European, 2 from Canada and 2 from New Zealand.
My theory on it is there's a lot of owner-occupiers in those countries, small farms, and so the bit of ploughing they have to do, they've got to do it so well. And that's perhaps why you tend to find so many good ploughmen in those countries. There's a lot of good ploughmen again in New Zealand and in Great Britain, of course. I mean, we're one of the best records although it's 1980 was the last time we won it. We were second last year, third the year before, so maybe this is our year this year. I hope so.
The World Plowing Competition is a 2-day event. The first day is spent plowing stubble, a field that has been cultivated for the season. The second day will focus on plowing in grassland, where the soil and roots are more compact and resistant. The larger challenge lies not so much in the different conditions of the fields, but in putting together the best 2 days of plowing possible.
It's left in the hands of the judges, and sometimes they have different views on it. Yesterday, my plot was very unlevel at one end, and it's made it difficult at the start. But I finished up quite well, and I don't know, I'm back a bit, but I just don't know whether I'll be able to pull back or not, you know. But we're trying today. Unfortunately, if you have made a mistake, you can't do anything about it. It has to stay that way. If you try to do something about it, you lose penalty points. So,
have you plowed in the World Championships before?
Yes, this is my third time. I plowed in Canada and Oshawa in 1975, and Hull in 1977 again. So competition is very high in our country. We have Des Wright that won it 1984 and 1986, and they've second in 85 as well. So that's what we're competing against at home, you know.
Despite his own experience and the Northern Irish tradition, James McGladdery couldn't make up the difference between the 2 days. He finished 10th overall. The winner of the 1988 World Plowing Competition was Graham Whitty of Great Britain. Rounding out the top 5 finishers were Helga Nielsen of Denmark, Sweden's Bengt Hermansson, and the 2 Austrians, Josef Dorn and Gunther Zeigelbach, finishing just a half point apart. While other world champions receive grand rewards, the world champion plowman will hold a trophy for a year. Yet his knowledge and skill are far more important than the world's fastest runner or highest jumper. As we continue to use and lose our soil, and as Earth's population continues to grow, the importance of these stewards of the land will also increase. The land is a precious and very exhaustible resource. The fertile frontier is no more. It's time to treat every bit of soil as if it is the last, so that no one will go hungry because we let it all blow and wash away.
Those who